Hey, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video that I will be uploading, it hasn't been uploaded yet, but I'm gonna upload it. But I basically swapped out the 40-gallon glass. I don't think it was ever acrylic. I'm pretty sure it was glass. It was pretty heavy. I would say close to 150 pounds of weight, just the glass alone. But I did mention in the other videos that the heavy duty shelf that I bought from Amazon. This is the 5-tier heavy duty shelf. Has a capacity of 400 pounds per shelf. So it's 5-tier. Each shelf is rated or certified for 400 pounds. So this is 400 pounds, that's 400 pounds, but clearly these are less than 4, probably not even more than 100 pounds of water weight. But going back to the 40-gallon that I had here, it was actually not centered, so it was more on the right side. And so that's why I reinforced it with some 2x4s here. And I talked a lot about this in my last previous video if you've been following me for a while now. But choosing a heavy duty shelf like this one does have some pros and cons. So just be mindful of the shelf that you're thinking about. Because mine is thin. If you notice, these are thin and they bend. See how that bends? Now it's not a real issue, but I did notice that some other fish keepers have like a more robust shelf that probably costs double the price of this one. This is probably like $120 Canadian. So it depends on the budget as well. So this was within my budget, so this is what I bought. I already was complaining about the mesh grill here, how it's not leveled. So then when I put the aquariums on top, each one of them, the water line is not leveled because of the mesh grill. But that's not true for the bottom one here, because the bottom one here, like I said, I reinforced it with 2x4, and then just for protection on the glass itself, I did buy this insulating foam board. It is much denser than regular styrofoam, so I do like that, and it's RH rated, so it is an insulating board, just to keep it from the cold ground. But yeah, it's been leveled. I have this like cheap level. It's not really accurate. I don't know, for some reason the bubble here is not centering sometimes. Like if I put it here just to see if this shelf is leveled, it's gonna tell me that it's leaning towards this way. But when we reset it, yeah, it just tells me it's leaning more this way. But clearly my tank is leveled, so this has been like a faulty thing that I got. So I wouldn't trust that. But yeah, so with that long rant, I think I just feel much safer with a plastic stock tank instead of a glass aquarium. I don't know if anyone else on YouTube appreciates that, but there's just too much risk, in my opinion, having a glass aquarium with leaks and cracks. Not to say that it won't happen here, but then again, the 40-gallon that I told you that I got that was here. Oh, by the way, this is also 40-gallon, just a smaller version of that one right there. But the 40-gallon that was here, it had a crack at the bottom, and the previous owner resealed it, and so I had the fish in it for like a couple weeks, like you saw in the videos. So it wasn't leaking, and the silicone held all the glass together, no issues there. I think it would have been fine, to be honest, if I just left it the way it was. But you know, with these kinds of things, I just don't want to take chances with. So I would rather be proactive with that. And I just, you know, peace of mind. I feel safer just getting a plastic stock tank. I love the, you know, bird's eye view pond style theme kind of thing. And you know, for the times that I'm not at home, I do have a camera as well. For both of these stock tanks, actually, they have a camera pointed at them, so that we can see, you know, when we're not at home, if the water line is good, the fish jumped, or whatever the case may be. It's good for, like, you know, reviewing footage after the fact. So I'm trying to cover all grounds, you know, just because I do live in an apartment and I don't really want to cause too much issues with, you know, my neighbors. Because, I mean, if this 100-gallon ends up bursting and it floods, I'm pretty sure it would reach all the way outside to the hallway and probably seep into the other units. So that's not really good. So, you know, I'm trying to mitigate as much of the risk as possible. I don't know if I've told you guys, but I do have flood bags. They're instant flood water absorbers from Amazon as well. Very useful. Each bag is like rated for 4 gallons. So I have 2 bags here. So this is 8 gallons of water that can be absorbed just right here. And I put it strategically here because the drain plug is right there. And that is probably the weakest point of this structure here. So not to say that the drain plug will you know, break, but it is the weakest point in the structure, in my opinion. So that's why I put it here. And God forbid I get a dog and it decides to chew on that thing, it's pretty much game over. You know, it's used for like draining water, obviously, but I'm not trying to drain the water. So so I think that comes in a 5-pack, 5 or 6-pack, because I have like a few more there. But just to let you know, this is only gonna absorb maybe close to like 30 gallons of water, not the entire 40. If this ruptured, or if this one ruptured, I wouldn't even have enough bags for that, because they do cost like $100 for this pack. So it is quite expensive to prepare for an event that would be catastrophic. So, you know, in the professional world, that would be business continuity. And, you know, sometimes the most important thing is budget, and I just don't have the budget right now to reduce the level of risk. So I am gonna accept some of that, because I do know that, you know, this is a brand new stock tank. I bought this like a couple months ago, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. But obviously, that is my concern there. 40 gallon doesn't have a drain plug, so I really have no issues with that. And as I'm talking to you guys, actually, my automatic water irrigation just turned on. So I have it. So this is the input and output. So the input is actually this long tube here going into the 100 gallon. So the 100 gallon is actually the reservoir. And see, I put the whatever, right? The absorber there, the end piece. So what it does is, obviously, it absorbs the water from the 100 gallon, which is nutrient rich, reuses it, and, you know, sprays it to all of the plants, drip system style. So as you can see, like, it's, you know, I have it pressured as well, so that I can control the flow of the water irrigation going into my plants. So I actually never have to water my plants ever again. So the same concept applies for all of them. This one died, so I ended up cutting the plant, so it's gonna regrow at some point. But I shut off the valve here and there because that one is so full of water. Um, and so the line actually extends upward. So if we go upward, you're gonna notice that it goes in here, and it has the this has the well, actually I should switch this. I should put this into here. This is the you know, one-way valve, right? So we don't want any water flowing back into our system or into our machine or back into the tank, because the reverse can happen. So it could technically go back there, but that's for another time. That might explain the issue of why some of these are dripping after the automatic irrigation. So I might have to relocate the one-way valve, because it's only, you know, protecting this line here, and it's a 2-line. So I need to put it like right here directly to the source, because I don't want any backflow going back into the 100 gallon, and then God forbid, this has an anti-backflow, by the way, but just in case, I don't want it to flood the 100 gallon, because it's gonna keep flowing, right? It's a siphon. But if you were ever curious, this is the irrigation system that I got. It's called Bidet or Bidet, B-E-D-A-Y. I think that's what it's called. It's from Amazon. You can just search it up. Automatic irrigation. But it's much cleaner now. I cleaned up all the cable, or not cable, but the tubing. So you know, there is a better cable management here, or tubing management. Sorry, I keep mentioning cable, but it's tubes. So as you can see, I had them all flowing here to this one splitter here. So this is nice that I put it here, because, you know, it's the easiest way for me to work on the pressure, adjusting the pressure, instead of before where this used to be at the back, and then whenever I had to adjust the pressure, I had to go back here. So it's just easier for you, or for me, to plan this ahead of time and make sure you have enough airline tubing. Like, I had to buy an extra 50 feet of airline tubing, just because the very far back one there requires the most, the longest run. So if we were to home run the tubing here, then I would need longer cuts of the hose, the airline tube. So and obviously this is connected to the main 4 valve over there going into the air pump. By the way, highly recommended, very quiet air pump. 4 outlets, 250 gallons per hour, I think, of output of airflow. $50, Amazon. Incli is the one that I have. Super quiet. I don't know if you guys remember like a long time ago, I had this really loud air pump. I still have it. I tried selling it. No one wants to buy it. I guess everyone knows what's up. I'm not fooling anyone there, but I am gonna keep it at this point, if no one buys it, but just because I could repurpose it later on. It is a very powerful air pump, but it's just way too loud. So I bought 2 of these, but in reality, that one air pump that was really loud is probably 3 times stronger than this one. So just to put that into perspective. But you know, I keep 2 racks on their own systems, except for the irrigation, because that's the only thing that's connecting them together. But the water, the air pump is separated, because there's another air pump over there. Yeah. So lots to talk about, clearly. If you were ever curious, I heat my aquariums by room temp. So it's 24.7 Celsius right now, and the humidity is 46. I mentioned humidity because the plants, yeah. But also because these floating plants really like I don't know. They're sort of dying right now, but I think they prefer really warm temperatures and nutrient-rich water. I think the problem here is the temperature, because I did buy it on Marketplace, and the guy told me to keep it at 25 degrees at all times. And to be honest, I'm right there. I'm at 24.7 degrees Celsius, so I'm not sure why it's dying off. There's plenty of fish in here for some nutrients absorption there, and also light as well. So we're monitoring this closely. I think it's because the pH of the water here in Calgary is way too alkaline, I guess. So I'm gonna try to make it more acidic. But that would segue now into the next topic, and the reason why I also did this is because I'm making room for the beta occulata. So, you know, I have the embellus here, the one embellus male. I did have two. The other one disappeared. I thought it jumped, but I can't find it. It might be hiding in these moss. Either, I don't know, but there's one right here right now, and then there's a pair of the Smaragdinus here that I'm trying to breed, but they are not bonding. They are very much fighting with each other, so I'm giving them their space. Temperature is here to encourage breeding habits, and then we'll just let them do their thing. But right now they're not bonded, so they're not really liking each other right now. Maybe because they discovered that they are siblings. So we'll give them some time. And this one right here, yes, so this is the one embellus, but the beta occulata will go here, and hence why the water is already pre-treated. I already made it black water ahead of time, but the problem is the pH, so I'm going to lower that because the beta occulata prefers slightly acidic water and softer, I guess, because there's I have to deal with the minerals in this tank, but it's gonna be really exciting because they're mouth brooders, and I hope to get a colony in here. They're not like the Splendens or the other types, because you can keep them in a colony community rather than siloed, because they're more peaceful, I guess. So we'll stay tuned for that. It's gonna arrive not anytime soon, but I'm already prepping for it. But if you were ever wondering, this is concentrated tannins. So this is powder solution. This is not almond leaves by itself or any botanicals. Even though there are botanicals in here, there's no way regular botanicals can achieve this kind of effect. So I actually went ahead and purchased a concentrated, powdered tannins, which I've mentioned numerous times in past videos. Really highly recommended. Super potent. And the reason why is because oculatas like black water, just like in their natural habitat. They don't really receive a lot of sunlight in these environments that they're in. And for me, I have a T5 LED light, so it's really bright. It's meant for growing plants, but I don't want to dim it because the plants do need to grow. So my solution here was to dilute the water with some of this black water, powdered tannins. So yeah, I put a lot, just for your reference, maybe a teaspoon of this powdered solution. And again, it's on Amazon, you can just search it up. But if you put a teaspoon in a 40-gallon, this is the outcome. It will turn really dark, really black. There's lots of plants in there, but clearly you can't see it. So yeah, that has been it. That is that. So we're gonna move away from that. And then yeah, I also I sold the 40 gallon and the two 10 gallons. This is the last remaining 10 gallon that I have. I am already setting it up to be either a quarantine or a breeder. This is a reptile enclosure, but I'm keeping it anyway. Again, it's not clean yet. Still thinking about what to do with it. No rush there. And then moving on to this tank right here. As you can see, we have our two Oscars, the Parachromis Loisile, something like that. I got that one because it looks like a Jaguar cichlid. It's smaller than a Jaguar cichlid, which is really dope because I didn't really want the size of the Jaguar cichlid, but yeah, look it up. Parachromis, the yellow jacket, I think sometimes it's called. And then obviously the 10 Severums. Still a very heavily stocked tank. Oh yeah, and 3 plecos, I think. Yeah, there's like 3 plecos in here. Yeah, so at some point I'm gonna have to get like a canister filter because right now they're just surviving on air pump, you know, moving fluidized moving bed filters, sponge filters, and some, you know, biological with the plants and the beneficial bacteria. So this is, I don't know, we're monitoring this. Again, I'm looking at these plants and they're dying, so we're gonna try to figure out how to revive these plants. Yeah. So if you were ever wondering, because I think we're gonna come close to the end of the video, if you ever wanted to have a setup as close as mine, this is so far what I found to have worked for me, that you can probably purchase for your maintenance needs. So most of them are concentrated powder because that's what I would recommend. It would last you a longer time, and if you have a lot of volume of water to deal with, this is really good. So I found this one from Amazon as well, Beneficial Bacteria by Aquascape Concentrate. It's beneficial bacteria, like it says. 1 teaspoon treats like 1,300 gallons. So this will last me probably a lifetime. So look it up. It's about a pound of powder, beneficial bacteria. So next up is Flourish Trace. This is just to supplement the nutrients for plant growth. There's some other ones like Excel or Advanced that you can look into. Depends on your needs, but for me it is Flourish Trace, just because it's an all-around supplement. And like I said, in Calgary we have high pH. So at first I thought I would get a neutral regulator, which I did, and it's almost done actually. And it brings it to a neutral 7. So it's been a really good product, but I'm gonna step it up and get the acid buffer because I need a lower pH than 7, or maybe like a 6 point something, but we'll see how that one goes. And then we have the Safe by Seachem as well. This is highly concentrated as well. This is the conditioner, by the way. So 1 scoop, which is like, you know, a quarter of a teaspoon, can treat like 50 gallons. So yeah, very potent. And there you have it. Those are all the maintenance stuff that I have. And stay tuned. So that's been the update right now for the fish room. So I hope you liked the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.